That's right, Grant Robertson on the line, I believe. Kia ora, Grant, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you just, Lisa. Speak in your outside voice.
I'll do that. Are you celebrating already, are you?
No, we've just got a big crowd here in at the Whare Waka down on the waterfront here in Wellington, and you know, people are very pleased by the early results, but we obviously keep waiting to see the big numbers come through. So
what do you make of those numbers so far?
Oh, look, they're very encouraging, you know. I mean, obviously these are the advanced votes that we're mostly seeing here, and they do, you know, they're very promising. They reflect, I think, what I was feeling on the ground, which is that people are, you know, been very grateful and very happy with how we've handled COVID. They like the shape of the plan that we've got going forward from here for the economy, and it has been a campaign where there's been a great feeling on the ground, but we never count our chickens, and there's still plenty of votes to come in.
Yeah, 32.6% returned at the moment, and you're on 50.6%. So with the position to govern alone, what discussions have you had about whether you would bring others into the fold, regardless of whether you have the numbers?
Look, we haven't been focused on that. I mean, obviously, we've been trying to maximise Labour's vote, and so we'll sit down once we do get the final results and work out where we are. Over the term that we've been in government, we've been able to work well with both the Greens and New Zealand First, but obviously, you know, we were looking for the strongest possible mandate. So we'll do that once we decide or once we find out what the final votes are. What I would say is obviously that Labour and the Greens have a lot of policy areas in common, and so I'm sure there'd be areas that we would be wanting to work on regardless of what structure we had in the government, but those decisions are to come.
So what, possibly a memorandum of understanding, if not a confidence in supply or formal arrangement with them?
Look, as I say, we just haven't got to that yet. We've worked well with the Greens during this term in government under the confidence and supply arrangements that we had, but we really do need to see where the final vote falls. You know, these are very encouraging results for us, but there's still, you know, as you're saying, more 2/3 of the vote to be counted yet.
What conversations have you had with Jacinda Ardern since the polls closed and the numbers started coming in?
I spoke to her briefly a few minutes ago, and you know, she's the same as me. You know, cautiously optimistic. I know that might sound strange to everybody when you see results with the kinds that are coming through, but we literally are talking about 1/3 of the vote and 2/3 to come. But she was very positive when I spoke to her, and you know, we're all looking forward to seeing the rest of the results come in.
You're a politician, I understand why you're cautious, but you must be looking at some of those seats which were, you know, blue as blue, and the numbers are looking like they're throwing to you in some of those seats. Rangitata, one of them. Are there any in particular that you've got your eye on thinking, whoa, what's going on there?
Yeah, well, look, Rangitata is a really interesting seat, but I think all credit to our candidate there, Jo Luxton. She's been a List MP for the last 3 years. I've been down there with her, and she has worked incredibly hard for 3 years, and I think that's what you're seeing reflected in some of those results there. I mean, obviously seeing us in front in somewhere like Ilam is something I wouldn't have picked earlier today, and so we'll see where that finally lands. Seats like New Plymouth, our candidate up there, Glenn Bennett, and his team have worked so hard over the last couple of years, and so, you know, I think you're seeing a reflection of that in some of those electorate races around the country.
If you are finishing up on these kinds of numbers tonight, what mandate does that give you, do you think?
Oh, well, look, you know, we've been looking for the strongest possible mandate here. You know, we were very clear with New Zealanders about our priorities for the next 3 years. The fact that COVID is going to be a massive part of what we all have to deal with. It's not going away, and it's from a health and an economic point of view, it will be a critical element. But also that we start to get on with addressing some of those long-term problems around climate change, productivity, inequality. So, you know, we're looking for the strongest possible mandate we can get, and if these numbers hold, then it will be a very strong mandate.
Thanks for joining us this evening. That is Grant Robertson joining us from Wellington Central, where 21.5% of the voters returned. Grant Robertson, obviously sitting MP, he's ahead in the stakes there, and the party vote in that particular electorate, 43.2%.
He mentioned New Plymouth.
Yes.
Wasn't one we were picking as well that might be in play, but Glenn Bennett has a lead of 2,000 over Jonathan Young from National there, so that one looks like it's going red as well. At 42% of the vote counted in New Plymouth. Let's go to Labour Party headquarters now in Auckland, the Auckland Town Hall. Yvette McCullough, the mood must be starting to bubble up a bit there.
Yeah, it's definitely building the atmosphere here down at the Town Hall. A lot of the Auckland MPs and their entourage have arrived now. Most of the Pacifica MPs have arrived with a big load of supporters with them, and the mood is just really lifted. People here are watching screens in all pockets of the Town Hall, just cheering and applauding as each of the results come through. And I think a lot of the vibe here is very much that they're almost in a bit of disbelief of just how well things are going for them at this stage of the game. And a lot of people saying things like, I can't believe we're ahead in this seat or that seat, and this seat that we would have thought National was going to be well ahead in, or should traditionally be, looking much closer. So I think there's a lot of pinch ourselves type feeling among the people here, and definitely that party atmosphere starting to build. There's some supporters really who've parked themselves in front of the bar outside in the foyer, who've just sat there all night just applauding and applauding at the TV, particularly when some of the Māori seats votes have been coming through, some of those results, and they are just absolutely beside themselves, and I think there's definitely going to be a big party here tonight.
I imagine there will be. Yvette McCullough, thank you very much. And of course, we'll be watching closely with reports from her to see when Jacinda Ardern makes her way there. It might be some time yet by the sounds of Grant Robertson, just yes, taking it easy. But
in saying that, we do have reports that the Prime Minister's security detail has arrived at her home in Auckland. So potentially that Mish could be on the move shortly. Indeed. So we'll keep a close eye on that and obviously bring you any update as it happens. But let's go now to National Party HQ and Craig McCullough. How is the night going down there, Craig?
Well, just hearing Yvette describe the scenes at Labour, I can tell you the scenes here, the atmosphere is a world apart from that. The look on the people's faces behind me, I think they tell it all. They're glum, they're despondent, they're shell-shocked. The room's half empty. There's only about, I'd say maybe 100 people here. And 2 hours in, or more than 2 hours in, only one MP, Melissa Lee, not one other MP has arrived. Look, they were not expecting to win, but they were also not expecting a result quite this bad. They were hoping for something in the low 30s. They're looking now at mid-20s on the current results. And interestingly, Judith Collins in the debate, the final debate, she was asked whether Simon Bridges would have been doing a better job, and she made a point of pointing out that the internal polling for National dropped to the mid-20s under Simon Bridges post-COVID. Well, look where we are now. We're in the mid-20s, and that will be weighing on her mind. It will be also weighing on the mind of her caucus, all absent apart from Melissa Lee here.
So, only Melissa Lee there. Do we know where Paul Goldsmith is, for example? Because obviously senior ranking MP, he's in Auckland. Is he holed up with Judith Collins, or what's going on?
I spoke to Paul Goldsmith yesterday. He was out and about with Judith Collins, and he told me he would be here tonight, but like I say, not here yet. Not clear whether he is going to be arriving. He was going to be celebrating, or commiserating rather, the current result with his team. And that's what all the local MPs were. I was told that they were all starting with their support base, their volunteers, and they were going to arrive here later in the night. How late in the night, that's not clear. We still don't know when Judith Collins is going to arrive, when she's going to deliver her concession speech, and we'll be watching that very closely. We've been told that she won't be taking questions from reporters. She will not be holding a media conference, which is very unusual, but it speaks to the result that we're looking at right now. Mid-20s is not where National wanted to be.
Thanks, Craig. Craig McCullough there from National Party headquarters. We're hearing, as he said, Judith Collins is expected to give a speech but not take questions from reporters.